Hello everyone. Hope everyone is okay, safe and well, and is not suffering too much with any anxiety or panic about the current situation, which is completely understandable. If that's the case, I think it's affecting more people than it ever has. This this condition. We're all in this together at the moment. So this is the fifth video in the series from me about what we can do to help with anxiety and panic, not just in this situation but generally. Um, so me, I suffered really, really badly years ago and spent a lot of time researching a lot of things and employing a lot of techniques and methods which really, really helped me. And if this can help other people, then great. So anxiety. It's worth mentioning that it's a normal thing. All of the emotions in the spectrum of fear, anxiety, panic, worry, stress, they're all normal. They're all unbelievably human. Um, these videos, on how to help with it is not a way of saying you need to get rid of it because it shouldn't be there. Not at all. It's one of the most human things to feel it. This is just how to soothe it. How for it not to affect you in the worst way, so you can feel better and approach situations a little bit better. By all means, if you're happy with this emotion, anxiety, during this time, if you're okay with that being there, and you want to make a defense of it and cling to it and say no, I'm happy feeling anxious and I think it helps, then fine. No worries. This video isn't for you. These videos aren't for you. So that's okay. However, if feeling anxiety is a problem, if you feel like it's something that you can't control, which generally is the case with anxiety, it kind of feeds off itself and gets unmanageable and uncontrollable, then yeah, keep watching and then hopefully um, this can help in some way. So I have maintained in other videos that it is something that can help. It does have a purpose in some way, but let's just inspect that a bit. Now let's look at it from the last few weeks where you may have been worried or anxious and projecting ahead to the future situation. Anxiety's going, oh, that thing might be coming. It'd be good to worry and do something about that. Let's just see, how correct or helpful has it actually been? Are you in the danger that you projected at the moment? Um, as you're sitting here watching this video, is your life in danger? Because that's what anxiety does. It tries to establish the threat. It tries to project to a situation where your life is going to be in danger, and it ramps up a whole bodily system to try and help you deal with that. Now you're sitting here watching this video. Is your life in danger at this very minute? The chances are not at the moment. If it is, if your life is in danger, then you've got to act. You've got to do something. Worrying about that beforehand is likely not to have helped with how you're going to act. If your life's in danger, you will act. You will do what you feel is the necessary thing. So yeah, it's just worth pointing out that the situation that you projected and was fearful of and was anxious about, life being in danger, that's likely not to be the case at the moment. That's not to say that you're not feeling it, that you're feeling okay and everything's great, because obviously it's not. But anxiety always works in the future. If you want to leave me a comment anywhere, underneath the video or on the YouTube channel or whatever, and tell me about any situation when anxiety is not about something that might happen in the future. So I'll say it again. Tell me a situation when your anxiety is not about something that's going to happen or might happen in the future. It's never really related to what's happening now. It's likely that you're sitting here, lying there, standing or, whatever, breathing perfectly okay, watching a video, and your life is not in danger. So is it possible that, anxiety, rather than it being a helpful mechanism for some situation in the future where you need to do something about, could we say that it's more about the fear of uncertainty, the fear of change, things happening that we've got no control over? I think, it is a lot to do with that. And look, that's okay. Again, that is like totally okay to feel that. I'm not trying to disprove anyone's feelings. I have all this myself, it's totally normal. It's a human thing. But we can still say that, it's about something that we have no control over, and it's not actually serving a purpose. It's irrational. We can see, from the question that I've just asked about, is it ever about anything that's not in the future? Then the old adage, which I started one of the videos with, of, there's nothing but the present moment, we can see how that is really, really important, and really rings true. Now, all we've got is the here and now, and it's not trying to be all, spiritual and all that. It's just, that is just the way it is. All we've got is the here and now, and anxiety is constantly taking us out of the here and now and putting us in a future situation we don't know much about. So okay, so what I'm trying to do is, I'm just trying to show that anxiety is irrational. Now you might be screaming like, yeah, I know it's irrational. You don't have to prove to me anymore. You don't have to, like, deny the if anxiety can be positive. The fact is, you might be saying to me, the fact is I'm still suffering here. You can tell me all day about the fact that anxiety is irrational, but I can't make it go away. I'm still suffering. But again, just have a look at that. If you are suffering, just for now, as a start, just see, is the suffering coming from what's happening right here and now, or is it coming from a situation that you are projecting about? So that's always a good thing to look at and realise and think about, when you're feeling the way that you are, as like first base, is anything actually happening to me now where my life's in danger, or am I just thinking about it? So the answers are a little bit further later on about how to actually deal with that, but just kind of more on the nature of anxiety, just to really drive this home, the uselessness of anxiety sometimes. All that anxiety you've been feeling over the last few weeks, has any part of that, and any of those projected situations, and when you've got to that situation, did the anxiety that you felt about it help with the current situation at all? Did it have any positive effect? Because look, I mean, I'm gathering that, a lot of us, with being scared or thinking about this lockdown thing, and a lot of anxiety coming in about that. Okay, so we're here now. We're all sitting here. It's what they call lockdown. We can't really go out. And yeah, we're still here. We're still breathing. We're still doing what we're doing. Was any of the anxiety worth it? Did it, did any of it come true? As in, did it mean your life was in danger when we got to this lockdown? No, it's just that, look, okay, situations have changed, circumstances changed, and that's it, and we're adapting to a new moment. So, okay, we get the point. You're probably saying, stop going on about it. We know anxiety is irrational. But, I just really wanted to put a final nail into the coffin there. So, um, what do we do about it? Well, we've got to, firstly, we've got to keep things in the day. Now, that's an old adage again, but it really rings true. When we're running away with thoughts about future and what's going to happen, just it's good to give ourselves a gentle reminder, but take some proactive steps about, like, what can I actually do today? What can I think about today? And you can even reduce the time frame a little bit more than that. What can I do within this next hour? What is my situation, and how can I respond to it? And if we keep going with small amounts of time like that, or keeping it in the day, things do get easier. That doesn't make much of a dent in this kind of uncontrollable nature of anxiety, where the anxiety feeds off itself. But just a word on that, anxiety is an emotion. It presents itself as thoughts, but it's the reaction to the thoughts, it's the emotional response to the thoughts which actually feed it more. If we were to not respond emotionally to an anxious thought, or a train of anxious thoughts or thinking, the energy actually runs out in the end. So this is like the crux, this is the crucial point here. It's how can we not respond emotionally, negatively to anxiety? Well, a lot of the stuff that I've covered up to now in terms of understanding that it's not dangerous in and of itself, it's not going to harm you, these feelings of anxiety. It's a normal thing. Understanding that, and a lot of other things, but also, and this is crucial, this is kind of the trick, when I'm talking about feeding the anxiety and making it worse, and making you feel helpless, because that's what this is all about. We can prove anxiety is irrational all day long, but can we actually make any progress with anxiety and anxious thinking running away with itself? How can we stop that? Okay, so we're in a loop of fear itself, or fear of anxiety, and we're constantly feeding it, and then the thoughts are being generated more and more and more. The way out is completely turn the tables, and this is hard to do at first, but it's absolutely revolutionary, and it does work with practice. So you've got to move in to the anxiety, you've got to welcome it, you've got to be willing to engage it, you've got to want to sit there and feel how it feels, you've got to be curious about it. Those uncontrollable, horrible thoughts that are happening, what you need to do is watch them happening, and almost like be curious. Look at what anxiety is making me think there. Look at that irrational thought. Wow, look at the strength of that one. Look how bad that thought was. But with that, be willing to engage them, be willing to let them be there, be willing to let the emotion be there. And actually, even more powerful, and I know this might be like really freaking you out right now, but like, speak to it, tell it to get worse, tell the thoughts to get worse. Like, as in, is that the best you can do, anxiety? Is that the worst thoughts that you can throw at me? Come on, give us a few more. And I know that sounds mad, and I absolutely know that sounds mad, but I promise you, when you start greeting anxiety with non-resistance, because it's the resistance that keeps it there and keeps it burning, when you open yourself to it, it has nowhere to go. It tricks it. It doesn't give it any fuel or food, and eventually those thoughts, they start to tail off. What you've got to employ while you're doing this, which is huge, is trust. You've got to trust that you're not in any danger. The anxiety, as I've just spent, the best part of like 15 minutes explaining, is projecting situations in the future which aren't here yet. In the here and now, you're safe and well. You're safe and well. And all of those projections, as we've just proven, they haven't proven to be helpful in any way. They haven't changed the situation. All that remains is, as the days go by and the situations changes, all that remains is your feeling of anxiety and projecting more again into the future. That's what's really happening. It's your feelings and your mental health which is not the best in this situation. It's not the actual dangerous situation that's actually materialized. Okay, so I really, really want you to try this. It's worked absolute miracles for me. It was one of the main things that got me out of a really, really severe loop of terrifying anxiety when I finally plucked up the courage to say, okay, do your worst, let's have it, let's feel it, go on, throw all them thoughts at me, because I know, and I trusted that they were coming from an emotion, a bodily state, which was not necessary. I didn't need it, and it's like the crucial thing that you can do. You won't hear this method in many other places, but I will give you the sources in some, either in the YouTube description or later on, about where I got this information from. But it's helped thousands of people all over the world, and it's been a lot better than prescription drugs, for example, or most other methods. But really, even if it's mild anxiety, don't resist it. Sit there and pay attention to it. See what it's all about. Explore it. Try and be curious about it. See the relationship with the thoughts that spin off, and with a constant understanding that you're projecting. Are you okay here and now? So give it a go. Feel it as best you can, and I hope that works. I hope that you make some progress with that. So I'm gonna end it now because it's been the longest video so far, and I'll come back and talk a little bit more. And in the meantime, I hope everyone again stays well and helps each other out. And there's some more things that I'm going to add about what we can do, which helps our situation. So for now, good night and see you soon.